to justice. Obstruction to justice. Justice now.
Well, hello, and welcome to another broadcast of Obstruction to Justice. I'm Ann Moles, and thanks for joining. I just want to thank you for hanging out and checking us out and participating. On Obstruction to Justice, what we do, we talk about current events, politics, current issues of the day. And of course, my favorite, we talk about business. So feel free to chime in and hang out a little while and share the links. Share the links with someone that may be interested in some of the topics that we talk about. We may be able to give some pertinent information about what's going on and jog some ideas about what to do and where to go. And as far as, well, today we're going to be talking a lot about politics today, and I want to share some of the ways that we can do some research to see what's going on with the bills and resolutions here in the United States. But first I want to check out and hang out. A lot has been going on this week, as we know, with the Olympics. Big shout out to all those Olympians, those that made it, the teams, made the teams, those that made it to the different semifinals and the competition to be able to compete for the different medals, those that medaled gold, silver, bronze. Big ups to you. There's a lot of hard work that goes into preparing to be the best in your craft, and that's pretty cool. That's a significant accomplishment. So, and on that same note, what we're looking at today, I want to talk about Sister Raven Sanders. Sister Raven Sanders, and I'm going to share a news clip here. Sister Raven Sanders. And let's see here. Which one is that? All right. And this is where NPR, this is at the NPR site, National Public Radio. And here is where Sister Raven Sanders, she is a shot put Olympian. So that's where you take and you throw that big, huge metal ball as far as you can. And she is a shot put champion, the Team USA's Raven Sanders. She won a silver medal in the women's shot put event Sunday at the Tokyo Olympics. And during the medaling ceremony, Sanders lifted her arms. She lifted her arms above her head and formed the X with her wrists. And with that, that's a demonstration. That's a demonstration. And when she was asked why did she use that symbol, she explained that the symbol represents the intersection of where all people who are oppressed meet. That's pretty cool. That's pretty deep, huh? And they did their little investigation or started to look to see whether or not she was violating any rules or anything like that. And nope, they weren't even going to look into that to try to punish her for that. Now, she's already accomplished a great feat, won the silver medal, and representing the oppressed. The intersection, she explains, is where all people who are oppressed meet. And that is what she was sharing, and that why she formed the X in that demonstration while accepting her medal. And, that's pretty brave. If you believe in what you believe in as far as speaking up for those that can't speak up for themselves, that's pretty brave. And she did that, and she wasn't concerned about meddling, the medal or whatever. But, the fact that this was an opportunity that was going to be witnessed around the world to speak out and speak up and represent and say, hey, I see you, those that are oppressed in the world. So, congratulations, Raven Sanders, for your great accomplishment out there with that medaling. That's super cool. Super cool. All right. So, yeah, I just think that is the coolest thing, in that, I really wasn't a very athletic person growing up. I have my sports that I like to do, but mainly, or like to watch rather, but mainly I just like to walk. I like to get out there and get some fresh air and walk. And, I just would encourage you to do that. I do that, and, it keeps you healthy and keeps you going. All right. Another big thing that's been going on in the news is we were talking about the moratorium, the renters moratorium. And there was a huge demonstration that representative from the first district here in the state of Missouri. Now, it's pretty local to us because we're Kansas City side here, but in St. Louis, on the St. Louis side, she's closer. She's on the St. Louis side, but they, with others, did a demonstration to represent those that were going to be out in the cold, and they were out on the steps of I believe it was the Capitol, and they were doing their demonstration out there and representing those who would be put out of their homes after the moratorium ended, which, of course, we know. Let me just go ahead and share that. I'll share that, and we'll take a look at that as well. But that where those um, who are going to be put out of their homes uh, because of not being able to pay. Okay, so following Cory Bush's protest, Biden reinstates eviction moratorium, and that was updated today. Okay, so this has been updated today. This is from the KansasCityStar.com, the local newspaper here, online here in the greater Kansas City area, KansasCity.com, and the Kansas City Star. And this here, Missouri Democrat Representative Cory Bush leads a protest against evictions on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. The leaders joining Bush include Reverend Jesse Jackson and Texas Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. And of course, this article was written by Brian Lowry with the Kansas City Star. But the federal moratorium was issued through October 3rd after housing activists and some politicians demanded the government to do more to help more renters across the country as the pandemic grinds on. The previous moratorium ended July 31st. Yeah, and we're going to take a look at that bill that Maxine Waters sent over to um, speak towards extending the moratorium, the renters moratorium. Yeah, the pandemic has, caused havoc, and people have lost their jobs, and a lot has been going on because of the pandemic. And of course, there's a lot of people that have lost their lives and loved ones. So, this was to me very unusual, but the bill was out there. Now, don't think that this was just something that was made up. They're just going to do some demonstration. There's still a legal process that we go through here in this country, and it was out there, and I'll show it to you. And they just followed up with some very sincere demonstrating, very sincere. And if you go out there and uh, find the Kansas City Stars, kansascity.com news, and there's an interview out there too about it. But she's also been sharing. I've also heard her do an interview and share how for a while, she was homeless and lived in her car. So this young person here, Corey Bush, Representative Corey Bush, she knows what it's like to not have a home. So, it's not where people are just thinking about, okay, well, this may have happened to me or didn't happen to me, but I have sincerity to want to help people. But when you've been there, you kind of have an urgency in life to want to help others who may experience that situation of homelessness or any unfortunate situation. Once you've experienced it, it's like, okay, we're going to get serious about this, not just feet dragging and ho humming, but really wanting to help people. So it looks as though it's extended through issue through October 3rd. So that's going to help some. That's a couple of more months to help those that are in need of making sure that they have a chance to keep their homes and not find themselves in, a situation of even more devastation of, job loss is huge. That's a big, big deal. And we all have responsibilities uh, to take care of ourselves and our families. So one way of making sure that we can do that, of course, is to work. And there's all kinds of discussions out there as far as whether or not Americans are going back to work, because they can make more on unemployment. Well, there are still states, lots of states. Most states don't have that extra income for unemployment that ended. So, and we're still looking at those that were hit, to me, the hardest because of the pandemic. And that's where, those that are uh, working in lower wage jobs, serving servers jobs and restaurants and things like that, and other types of jobs. Well, those businesses closed down. So what can you do? The business closed down, and then, of course, where children were um, closed, the schools were closed, and parents had to keep children at home. Well, everyone couldn't work from home. There were people that couldn't transition to work from home. And, there was, even during that time, there was a contract that we were working on. And even though they transitioned to work from home, this particular team, with one of the teams that I was working with, they didn't keep everyone. So even though you could work from home and there was a transition to move a lot of office people online through using online resources, it still wasn't where everyone was able to work from home. That's office jobs. Well, um, if you're doing work where you're having to be there to serve and to work and to hang there, then you just can't. It's a different story. And then who's going to take care of the children? Big shout outs to all of the uh, Salvation Army did something really huge in this greater Kansas City area where even the children that were had to stay home during the pandemic, schools were closed for some of the school districts. So one major school district here in this greater Kansas City area, the Kansas City, Missouri School District, had uh, online classes. That's where all the students were online. So the school buildings were closed. Well, what do? You still have to go to work. Well, what they did was Salvation Army opened up a few facilities, and they brought the children and worked with the Kansas City, Missouri School District and brought the children to some of the facilities where they could be monitored and not have to be at home. Um, you had first graders, and it's just a lot. Second graders, elementary school children having to be at home trying to go to school. Well, here, this was an effort, and a big shout out to all of the help services that have been there for those people in need during this pandemic. And big shout out to uh, Democratic Representative Cori Bush and the others there that just they were going to make some emergency noise. That's big, big ups, big ups. And that's got to be important. What are we doing here? What are we doing? You want to help people. As far as being a strong America, it's not the segregation or separation part where you have some. You're going to always have people that aren't going to be doing as well. But look, if there's something that you can do to make a difference, then make that difference. Hey, good evening, Sister Riza Singleton. Evening to you as well. Yeah. So, we're just wanting to be mindful of helping people, and she did that. She's on her job. That's another thing. People are saying, okay, well, why should we vote? Well, would this have happened? Would this extension have happened if the passion wasn't there? I don't think it would have. And Cori Bush had that passion. Well, she was voted in. She was voted in as a representative here in Missouri. So it does pay to vote. All right, Brother Kareem Jackson. Morning from KC, brother in the Philippines. I love politics, he says. Had Senator David Haley on the show the other day about the Kansas election this past Tuesday. He won. Yes, Brother Kareem has a great broadcast that he hangs out and does, Kareem Jackson. And we have actually talked with him here on Obstruction to Justice. We need to get him back on. But yeah, super. He's doing big things and talking to people, and that's really what it's about too. The communication part of what's going on in society. If you're not talking about it, then really, are you really going to be about it? uh, Conversation is huge. Brother Kareem Jackson says, as an expert, I can and do vote also. As an ex Yes. Okay. Expat. Okay. About 8.7 million of us out here abroad. Okay. So even though he lives in the Philippines, he has an opportunity to vote, and he does. And that's what's important. That's super cool. Yeah. So do that big vote. We definitely encourage voting because it does make a difference. It made a difference to where Cori Bush was there to be passionate about the situation. All right. Yeah. Super, super. Thanks, guys. Thanks for chiming in there. Voting is what's happening. 8.7 million or abroad still get a chance to vote. That's super. All right. I want to talk about bills. Now, once you get the person in, what is it that they do? That's kind of an interesting point there. So let's see. I want to show you. There's a website out here that I enjoy, and it's been really giving me some insight on a couple of things. I did some research out here on this site here, and what it does. Let me go out here and grab it. What it is, let's look at the bills. Let's look at this one here. Okay. Now, this is govtrack.us. If you go out to govtrack.us, govtrack.us, there is a way where you can actually search for the different bills and resolutions. Okay, so if you want to know what your congressman, what your state representative, what they're doing in Washington, okay, this is where you can find the different bills, what they may be on committees that support or the bills that are out there that have been proposed. So, say for instance, here in the greater Kansas City area, we have Representative Emmanuel Cleaver. He's a Democrat. Congressional Democrat here, and he introduced a bill called Stabilizing Rural Homeowners During COVID Act of 2021. Now, the prognosis of this is that it's got a 3%, but here is where you can actually do the search. So we just plopped in Cleaver here as far as the name and searched, and this is what it came up. So it also has where he's probably on some of the committees. He's on the committees that are talking of proposing the different bills and resolutions. Okay. All right. So that's where you can go to take a look at the different bills and resolutions. Now, I want to, let's see, I'll probably just go ahead and get rid of some of these where we can not have to pick and choose to guess. All right, so we're done with this one. Now let's check out the actual bills and resolutions that the government, that what they're looking into. Okay, so I'm going to go out here and grab that. Bills and resolutions. Okay. Now, again, you can go out to govtrack.us, and there is a tab out here, /Congress/bills/ # by status. Okay. And there's a tab here where it says all bills. Okay. So these bills are presented by the different representatives. And here there's it's listed as enacted laws, or gotta vote, or failed legislation. Or you can look at all the bills or find a bill. Okay. So I think what I had done was there are 31 enacted bills and joint resolutions so far in this Congress. So what that means is that this is the work that was voted on, where it was presented, introduced, and went all the way to get signed by the president into law. All right. So you can find that bills and resolutions and kind of go through where you like to do that search. That's super cool. All right. And let's take a look at one of the bills. All right. So we saw 31 were passed so far. This is what the work has been done. so far. So now let's take a look at the a bill here. I want to show where this is the bill that HR 4791, Protecting Renters from Evictions Act of 2021. And this was the one that was presented by Maxine Waters. Okay, so we found this bill. This is where it'll take you to, and you'll take a look at it there. And it was introduced. So it goes through the introduction stage, July 29th. And it had a 4% chance of being enacted according to there's some information out there according to who does the percentage prognosis. Okay. And it talks about the bill. So you can actually go out and see the overview, the co-sponsors. There's more than one person talking about it. This is where they talk about crossing the aisle or who's in support, how they come together and support a bill. Now, and here, the different statements, the history. I want to show this. So this is the process that the bill goes through. So the bill is introduced. Okay, bills and resolutions are referred to committees which debate the bill before possibly sending it on to the whole chamber. Okay, then it's on House schedule. So it's put on the schedule. The House schedule indicated that the bill would be considered in the week ahead. So then it's put on the House schedule. Then text published, updated bill text was published as a preprint. Okay, now then it has to pass. So it goes to the vote to pass the committee. The committee says, hey, yeah, we want to push this on. Then it has to pass the House vote, the House of Representatives. Then it has to pass the Senate vote. Okay, then it's signed by the president. All right, so that's the process. And this is just a great site here because it'll give you information about the bill and just details where you can get a better understanding about what's going on with the lawmakers. Super. All right, so this is the bill that Cori Bush was really fighting to stand up for the rights of people. And it just got pushed right on through and the president signed it. So that's super cool. Super, super cool. All right. So that's the bill, the HR 4791 bill. So if you listen to the news and you hear that type of information, then that's what they're talking about. Okay. Now, when it comes to business, I was looking around to see what's happening in the business world. What's on the agenda, the political agenda for what can help, business owners and things like that. So I was interested in that. And I went out there and I found this bill here, the HR 4367, and it's called the Boost Act of 2021. All right. And it's sponsored by Kwasi Mfume. And he is the sponsor representative for Maryland's 7th Congressional District. He's also a Democrat. And it was introduced on July the 6th, 2021. Okay. Now, what this does, it says to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide a partial exclusion from gain for interest in a socially disadvantaged business and for other purposes. Okay. So that will help those in that situation as far as that tax code. So that's what he presented. So it's just been introduced. Okay, it hasn't passed the committee vote. It hasn't even gone that far. It's just been introduced. Okay, so I thought that was kind of interesting. That's what I found for what's going on with businesses, socially disadvantaged businesses, which I just found that to be an interesting uh, conversation. Socially disadvantaged business. Hmm. So, if you want to do more study on that one, what that means, you can go out there and look up that bill and dig into it. HR 4367, Boost Act of 2021. All right, super. So, yeah, just checking that out as far as business is concerned. And here, I'm down to the wire. I'm down to the wire. I have been working on the book, working to get through this book. It is just so intriguing. The Black Tax by Sean D. Rochester. Now, this book talks about the cost of being Black in America. And I'm just really getting into it to read it, to understand it, not just to breeze through it, but it's kind of a struggle too because I'm kind of weepy. It's very disappointing about what's going on, but it's a very interesting and I believe necessary book because it talks about the cost of being Black in America. So when we're talking about the situation of oppression and and just oppression, segregation, in all of the arenas of life, and even now that there's desegregation and all that, uh, just to live, what's really going on, and what has been missed as far as opportunities for African American families and wealth. What's the cost? What's really going on? And it's really a book to where I believe that you would really be intrigued to get an understanding. It's very well written. It's not the only I've heard. It's like, okay, well, I've been doing some research, and okay, well, how valid is what he's saying? Well, others are saying it as well, and he has research numbers and information that is definitely backing up what he's saying. So that right there is a book that I think that you would definitely be interested in. The Black Tax, The Cost of Being Black in America. And there is also a bookstore that carries this book. So let's check that out. It's a bookstore that carries this book. It's called Umoja Books and Products. And they are in Lafayette, Louisiana. I found them. There's a couple of other books that I have ordered, doing research and studying about just different subjects. But this bookstore, Umoja Books, which you can, it's just a very intriguing name, carries the book, The Black Tax. So if you want to purchase this book, I would suggest that you go out there and check it out and purchase it from Umoja Books and Products. And the website is Umoja, Umoja bookstore.net. And you can do a search for the book and it will bring it up. And it's very reasonably priced. Oh my goodness, I just saw, my goodness, it says that it's currently out of stock. Oh no. It's still worth going out there and checking out this bookstore on the website. It's definitely worth it because they have other books that I'm going to be introducing. Oh no. Well, hopefully they'll get it in soon, and you go ahead and contact them and find out when they're planning on getting the book in. Oh my goodness. Emoja Books and Products. Big shout out and kudos to you for being out there and doing big things. Black African American bookstore. Yes, so check them out. Wow. Which brings me to a point. It brings me to this point that the truth is, and I'm a Christian. Yeah, I let it out of the bag. That's just who I am. But there is scripture in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 9:11 and Matthew 24:13. Now, Ecclesiastes, this is Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived or ever will live. Wisest man that ever lived. He says, I again saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, and the battle is not to the strong, and neither is bread to the wise, nor riches to those of intelligence and understanding, nor favor to men of ability, but time and chance overtake them all. Okay, but the first part of that is what I really dig. I again saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift. Wow. And the battle is not to the strong. Now, here's the other part of that. Matthew 24:13. It says, but the one who endures and bears up under suffering to the end will be saved. And I read that in the Amplified Version. Yeah. So she fell. She fell, but she was on her job. She's like, okay, get up, girl. Get up. And she got up and successfully ran the race, ran that race to achieve the gold medal. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wowzer. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that makes you want to, it helps you get up to go. Hope and tenacity. Wow. It's like, shoot, she could have just laid there. Oh my goodness. She could have. I mean, look, there were several others, but she got up. Yeah. So, I mean, that's an inspiration. That's an inspiration. You know, business, pandemic, situation, wherever you find yourself, don't give up. Don't give up. Get up. Don't give up. Get up. That runner. Oh my goodness. All right. Lastly, here, and I'm going to let you go, is the ASBNC classes and scholarship fund. I want to go out there and show you. Now, ASBNC Training and Consulting is a computer and corporate training service company where we actually do content development. We do consulting services for learning management systems, training modules. We develop training modules. So if there's a special training module that you need, we develop those. There's lots of other things that we do when it comes to training and training management and content development. But one of the we do training as well. So if you want to grab a class out here, you can go out to www.asbnc.com and go to the ASBNC Training Academy. There's a few classes listed out there. Now, we do one-on-one sessions. So if you're one to where, okay, you really would like to make sure that you get an understanding and you don't want to be hanging out with others in the class, we do one-on-one sessions. So we will teach you and get you to that next level of understanding to get you closer to your goals. And this is with the classes that are listed, but any other class that you can think of, the training. If you're needing that type of training, contact us and we can let you know. If we don't do it, we can direct you to where you can get it. But we definitely will be glad to help you in any training questions, with any training questions or any of the training needs that you may have, you or your company. And that's a big thing, training and learning management systems, instructional designing. We do that. And that's kind of a big thing right now. So we will definitely help you and get that going for you. Another thing I'd like to share with you is the scholarship fund. Now we partner with nonprofits, and I think we talked a little bit about the working with children and doing tutoring and helping with that. And big shout out to the Salvation Army. But we do work with nonprofit organizations, and there's a scholarship fund that if you want to do some donating, it's a $5 scholarship fund. So it's the only thing that's going to come out is the $5. But what it does is it allows for ASBNC to sponsor mobile tutors. So it's a mobile tutor project where we work with nonprofit organizations and we can work with them to actually go and help tutor different students. Now, reading is a big thing, STEMs, science, technology is a big thing. So we also work with Laborers for His Harvest Ministries, and we partner with them. And we provide tutor support for kids grades K through 12. And the volunteers, these are volunteers. Okay. So we work with the tutor to tutor the students in reading, comprehension, and STEM. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, really the main thing where we see that there's a big need is reading. Well, there's a big need to bring students up to speed with reading, grammar, effective listening, those basic skills where that student will work and have those tools to be successful. And we see it in the younger years too. So any donation that you'd like to consider, if you want to give more than that, contact ASBNC Training and Consulting, and we'll definitely appreciate that. But the scholarship fund link is out there. Fun in Learning item scholarship link for $5. So feel free to give and donate to that as well. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's really been fun and enlightening. It to see kids get it and to see them progress. A lot of times parents are busy. That's something that we talk about. Parents are busy and having to go to work, and then others are, the kids have to stay home. And COVID, who knows? I mean, it's my grandkids. Everybody is just trying to hang in there to get back in school. And we're just hanging in there. But the main thing is that we're here to help the community as much as we can. And I think that's what's important, to give back to the community any way you can, and support your community, because the community is the future for any business. It is the future. Without the communities, we're the people that are going to do business with you. We're the patrons. So, and we want to make sure that all children have an opportunity to be successful. So that's what's going on with ASBNC Training and Consulting. It's been fun, guys. Thank you for chiming in. Reza Singleton, big ups to you. Brother Kareem Jackson, big ups to you. We appreciate you guys. And anyone, if you have any other questions that we can help you with, just let us know. Let us know. All right. All right. Well, it's been fun. And I always say, if the Lord says the same, we'll see you next time.
Justice now.